Please welcome, first of all, a Welshman returning for his 13th Crucible campaign, 3 times a quarter-finalist. This season, he's secured 3 big wins, 2 of them ranking triumphs. Ladies and gentlemen, here comes the pride of Conti Cummer. He's Ryan Dynamite Day. And his opponents, returning for his 4th Crucible campaign, winner of the 2016 Indian Open, runner-up in that one this season. Quarter-finalist here on his debut 3 years ago. He is a player who loves this big stage. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Glasgow, here comes Anthony McGill. And on table 1, please welcome a player who makes a little piece of history here today, becoming only the 5th man from Thailand to appear on the big stage. 4 times a ranking event semi-finalist, 6 Reds champion 2 years ago. One of the fastest players on tour, and he will come out all guns blazing tonight. Please welcome Thepchaiya Un-Nooh. And finally, one of the finest sportsmen Scotland has ever produced. 20 years after winning the first of his 4 world titles, he's bidding for a 20th appearance in the 2nd round. This season, he's already won the Indian and Welsh Opens. It's the Wizard of Wishaw, John Higgins.
So the dividing wall in the Crucible comes down for the 2nd session of this match between John Higgins and Thepchaiya Un-Nooh. And a very important frame, like they all are here at the Crucible.
Thepchaiya Un-Nooh to break.
Joined in the commentary box this evening by Peter Ebden, who watched the morning session. Peter, what did you make of it?
Yes, it was a very subdued session early on. And John Higgins couldn't really seem to get out of 2nd gear, and he didn't have to, because he was getting plenty of chances every frame from Thepchaiya, and we all know what a great player Thepchaiya is, but he just wasn't there today. I'm absolutely certain that John Higgins would have been devastated to only lead 5-4, but he had a maximum attempt that he was lucky and then unlucky, fluke to red, and I think he'll be very pleased to be going into this evening session leading 6-3.
Good opening red. Yeah, I watched a little bit of that myself this morning, and you see John Higgins floating that red in, straight in the centre. Always a good thing. But yeah, it was a couple of frames could have gone the other way, so the 6-3 scoreline John will take every day of the week. Not that I'm surprised John Higgins wins frames. He doesn't look like winning, because he's made a career out of doing that, aside from being very good himself. He's missed by a long way, wasn't it?
John Higgins won.
Do you think there's a bit more pressure on the top players now, John, the fact that Mark Selby's gone out the tournament?
I think it's absolutely 100% more pressure. That's what the sports psychiatrists or psychologists say, though, isn't it? Can't get ahead of yourself. You know, the only thing you can control is the next shot you're playing and the next match you're in. So you've got to put that to the back of your mind and let the tournament unfold as it does. I've had some wonderful draws, Peter, while I'm up the M6.
8. 9.
I said in commentary earlier today, John, that I just hope that Tepchire can step up and start playing the way we know he's capable of playing, because he's such a talented player.
And he can score very quickly, and of course, like a lot of the left-handers, Peter, look really
14.
good. I don't know what it is about left-handed players. They look classy. Jimmy White being the classic example of that. Well, he must be on something. He's just having a little look to see. Definitely can be on the outside of whether those two that's nearest the tip of his cue. So he's got that. He's just checking to see what angle he'd need to leave on the black to move that red off the spot, which is the problem.
I think that is absolutely true, John. You see left-handers in all sports, and snooker as well, whereby they seem to be very naturally gifted, very
15.
creative, and maybe it's got something to do with the fact that left-handed people use the right-hand side of their brain, which is the creativity side of their brain.
Well, he was certainly creative there, because that was really well thought out. Left the cue ball exactly where he wanted, played the screw cannon,
22.
opened up the black spot. Very well played.
23.
And just needs to keep his concentration up. In the matches that I've seen Tepchire play, it's not a question of his talents. He's got bucket loads of that. It's just occasionally he misses the odd one he shouldn't. Just sometimes through a lack of concentration, but he's
30.
got plenty of talent. He's also quite flexible.
31.
If I tried that position, Peter, I'd be in traction.
He just looks so natural, doesn't he, when he's in amongst the balls? Such a gifted player.
38.
Yeah, and they always seem to score quickly, don't they? The scoreboard changes. You're already break up to 38. And decided that the
39.
is the ball to play for there. Nice little series of stuns and screws this has been. The cannon a few shots ago was beautiful, the way he potted the black and opened up the spot. That's what's made this break.
43. 44. 51. 52.
So far, so good. And you can't hit it much better than this. Very fluent, very natural, very gifted.
59.
Also has the distinction of missing a couple of
60.
blacks, doesn't he, Peter, for maximums on the final black. He's done it twice.
He did, but at least he made one after that, John. Well, I've got a correction to make from earlier this afternoon. I mentioned that Tepchire practices at the Star Academy
67.
in Sheffield. Well, that's where he used to practice, and I received a text message early on from
68.
professional Mike Dunn, who's had his best season ever, so well done, Mike. And he says that Tepchire is now resident at the Q House Academy in Darlington.
75.
So that's you told then.
76.
How quickly has he made this? It's a beautiful break.
83. 84.
He's going to need that red that's on or close to the right-hand side cushion to make a
91.
century. Break time's just coming up to 6 minutes.
92.
So, stun up to try and get a ton up. Break on 99, just drop this in for the century. Is it there? It is. Well played. Oh, what a shot. Fantastic.
107. 109. 112.
Well, this is a way to win the first frame in style. We told you he was good. This has been wonderful. Great cue ball
116.
control. It's hardly moved. And all done with the
121.
minimum of fuss. He's a player, this boy. Can't believe he missed that.
121.
Well, break of 121 from Un-Nooh. That's how you win the first frame of the evening session. And he reduces the arrears to 4 frames to 6. Well, Peter, that was a wonderful break. We mentioned how fluent he was, but there was one shot in there that I really liked. He studied for a while before he got to it, but there was this shot on the black. And he plays it just to get a little cannon, trying to get the red off the spot. Hits this lovely, doesn't he?
Yeah, he played that really, really well, just to open things up. And this is the Tap Char that I was talking about in the early part of this match in the first session. It looks a different player now. He didn't turn up this morning, and this is the player that we know and love, one of the most exciting players in the game. Such a natural talent. Can he keep it up now against one of the greatest match players of all time?
Yeah, that's the test, isn't it, of course. And but you can bet your bottom dollar John's under the cosh. You know, he's the seed, wants to have a good run in the tournament, and why wouldn't he? But you've seen this week already that we've lost something like 5 world champions already in this event, and the seeds have been struggling, some of them, that's for sure.
It just goes to prove, doesn't it, that the standard, the overall standard, the strength in depth of snooker now is just stronger than it's ever been.
Well, I said at the start of the tournament, you know, you could pick yourself up and put yourself anywhere in the draw, and you couldn't find an easy part of it. That's how strong it is.
The 11th frame. John Higgins to break.
So John Higgins breaks off in frame 11. And that's an excellent break. He won't be potting any from there.
Might just be re-rack country, this. Players looking at each other. But unless John can dig down and get the cue ball out and down, maybe he can with this, so that'll stop the re-rack. Yep. Otherwise, we've just been tapping the balls for a while. Yeah, one of a good few players who've come from Thailand. The first one who was a a real superstar was James Watanabe, Peter, who I believe is still playing, and you beat in the first qualifying round.
Yes, we had a tough match. Obviously, a lot of experience between the two of us. James, former world number 2, world number 3. Been Thailand's best player for a long, long time. I just managed to come out on top in that encounter, but it always makes things very tough for you. Still making regular maximums in practice, apparently, so he can still play.
Oh, he was always a terrific player. He was a nightmare for me, that's for sure. Knocked me out here a couple of times, quarter-finals and things. Always used to fizz when he played me, but terrific scorer.
Actually, I owe, personally, James Watanabe a great debt of gratitude, because the year I managed to win here in 2002, we were practicing best of 19s every day in practice, and we were really going hammer and tong. So, you know, both of us were so sharp coming into that tournament, so he did me such a great favour, and it was great practice. He's a lovely lad, James.
Yeah. Desperate to get that cue ball back behind yellow and brown, and now he hasn't, John. This is an opportunity for Tepchai. These are the ones you have to take against the likes of John Higgins, where you've got to get that safety in behind the yellow and brown. If you don't pot it like that, if you start the quite. So that pot was on, and it was straight in the middle of the pocket. Excellent. Just come a little bit too far for the blue. It's a thin clip, and he's pretty straight on the green, which isn't nice. So it will be the blue, but needs a little bit of luck here, unless he can drop on something. Well, it looks like the red that's in the cluster, 2 below the pink, is potable.
6.
Well, the other one is as well, so good shot. Yeah, and he's got a plant as well, which is just below there.
Seven.
Don't know whether he's quite far enough there. Might have a little bit of angle. He's just struggling with the cue ball
12.
at the moment, to be exact. Now, if that pink pots, he may choose the plant to hold for the pink.
$13. $19.
Lovely shot. Lovely shot.
20.
All he had there was to power into that red, and for it to finish where he did, well, perfect.
Got some action on the cue ball there, John, didn't he?
Just a bit, but he hit it so effortlessly.
25.
The work was still on the cue ball, even after it contacted the other red. Really nicely played. And he started
26.
this evening like a steam train. This was far from an easy chance when he came to the table, but he's manoeuvred the cue ball really well.
31.
May just have liked to have been a touch shorter on this red. Oh, everything's working.
32.
What a lovely little touch that was. Could have played up for blue there, but played a little feather cannon into the pink. Terrific stuff.
And the signs are, John, that he's a lot happier with his game this evening, because there's
38.
no way he would have played that delicate cannon this afternoon. His cue ball was just nowhere near. So very encouraging signs for Tepchire.
Just got to be careful with this one. Lots of reds and he can cannon into here, and he nearly missed that red.
39.
Thinking about avoiding the cannon. Not perfect on this pink. Pretty acute into the middle pocket, so warrants a bit of respect.
Tepchire, Un-Nooh 39.
Well, I could see a few things happening, but not that he left it right in the jaws. Oh, it needed a quarter of a roll.
One.
So 39-point lead. What can John Higgins make of this chance?
Seven. Eight. Fourteen. 15.
Took the opportunity there to flick that red away, but I think in the back of his mind he knew he was going to have a tricky black after it. It wasn't ideal for the cannon where he finished. So this is a tough shot into a blind pocket. Good shot, well played. As he's done on numerous occasions over the years, as the great champion that he is, can he steal a frame? He didn't look like winning. That's the key to winning these great championships. It's not the frames you should
23.
win, it's the frames you shouldn't. Remarkable sort of turnaround in John's form as well. A couple of seasons
30.
ago, I have to be honest, it looked like his long game was struggling and he himself was a bit low on confidence, and you're thinking, oh, maybe we've seen the best of him, but well, he soon turned that round. Still winning tournaments, still as hard to beat as ever. And if you play the right shot every time you go to the
31.
table and you play it to the best possible standard, you're a match for anybody.
I mentioned in commentary earlier this morning, John, that in my opinion, one of the reasons why John Higgins didn't get out of second gear today is because he was getting 3, 4, 5 chances of frame. And Tepchire was really posing no real danger to him. That's changed this evening. That's a beautiful shot. Well played. So John Higgins now knows that the danger, the threat
38.
from Tepchire Un-Nooh is real. And he's responding tremendously here. And he really is going through the gears.
39.
This is the John Higgins we know. Still a bit of work to do, but you wouldn't put it past him to clear up here, John, would you?
Well, if you give me free money, I know which way I'd bet.
45. 46.
Got some Hungarian foreign on me, John.
So you would think that this is the key ball to the frame.
53.
Far from gimmies, these on the top cushion. Actually, sometimes a little bit more tricky just off. But not for John Higgins. Oh,
54.
That. And this is just wonderful response to someone who looks like they're really in good form. He started brilliantly this evening, but just that one mistake, not reaching the pocket with the pink.
And this is what great champions do, John. They sense the danger, they sense the threat.
61.
And they go through the gears. And there's nobody better than that. John Higgins.
'63. '66.
Well, two brilliant frames of snooker this evening already. Break of 121 from Tepchaya in the opening frame this evening. And an
70.
absolutely fabulous clearance from John Higgins. Vintage Higgins. Superb.
75.
That's why you can't miss when you're in, because this is what happens to you.
John Higgins, 81 on the frame.
Absolutely brilliant clearance from John Higgins. Could very well have been going 6 frames to 5, but that wonderful break of 81 in response to Tepchaya's 39. And it's Higgins who leads by 3 frames again at 7-4. So that frame, but Peter, basically was just about one shot. The pink to the middle.
Yes, and it looked as if it was going to drop. Hit it okay.
There was somebody else at the tournament this week, right at the very end, it might have been day one, who did exactly the same thing on that shot and left it right in the jaws on the end of it, and I think they ended up losing the frame as well. But he'd just come a little bit low on the pink, and he was just trying to hold the cue ball, wasn't he, instead of letting it run away.
That was in all day long, barring the starch that they put on the middle pockets.
Yeah, and of course there's the chance, but how many players would have just done that clearance like John Higgins? It was absolutely wonderful play. The lovely little cannon to move the red away from the black. Left himself a tricky black, which he knocked in, but there was an inevitability about it when he got to the table.
Yep, the first session today, I suppose somebody could have asked the question, would the real John Higgins please stand up? Well, after that clearance, we now know that the real John Higgins is definitely in the building.
Thank you, ladies and gents. Frame 12. Tepchaya Un-Nooh to break.
So Tepchaya Un-Nooh breaks off at the start of frame 12. As John alluded to there, 2 cracking frames this evening. This wonderful Crucible crowd has been treated to. What a great venue this is, John.
There's nowhere like it. There really isn't. I've been coming to this wonderful venue since the age of 14, where I turned up as a junior to watch an evening session. And was absolutely hooked and mesmerised it by the place the first time I saw it. Electric atmosphere. Nowhere like it. And if you are an aspiring snooker player, this is your Wembley. A little bit wide with that one, but obviously some safety in mind there. Wasn't wholly committed to holding the cue ball, so I'll be relatively happy with the result. Played John here myself in the year he won in '98. I was still playing reasonably decent then. I think it was the second or the third session. Anyway, it was the morning session in the match, and he started with 144 first shot and 141 the second. And I turned to him and said, "Well, you're not very good in the mornings, then, are you?"
Just think how good he would have been if he'd had some sleep. Oh, lovely safety shot from John Higgins there. It looks as if he's cut the path off to play down the right side of the table. Possibly could just snick the red closest to the black cushion. Oh, he can, yeah. He's not playing that though. Needs to be very careful here. Well, he hit that completely wrong.
I would say in that department there's quite a bit of a gap between the two players. There's absolutely no doubt Tepchire is fluent and a heavy scorer, but when it comes to that tactical department, John Higgins is going to have the upper hand. That's not being ever critical of him, but it's just the fact that John is particularly adept at that part of the game, which is why he's been the great champion. You know, he's a scorer and a break builder normally, but it's the tactical side which just has you in knots for most of the game. You never get an easy shot. Noticeable this week. The pockets have been dropping a little bit, but not off the front jaws.
One.
So, an unexpected miss from John. What can Tepchire do?
This is where Tepchire is so strong in amongst the balls.
8.
And he needs to make it count now, because he's under a lot of pressure out there.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, Peter, the fact that John is going to probably win and have the upper hand in the safety and tactical department, it's so important for Tepchire to, when he gets these chances, to score as heavily as he can. He's certainly cueing well enough this evening to do that.
16. 17.
I like watching him. I think he's really nice to watch.
Yes, John, he's another one of these young players that makes the game look ever so easy. And we all know that it's not. Quite similar in many ways to Jack Lisowski, Robert Milkins, very, very natural players.
24.
Better shot than it
25.
looked. Stun run through with a bit of run inside there just to widen the angle off the second cushion. Had the option there of going into the pack, that cluster at the back. He could have screwed into that and opened a few out and
32.
held on at least one of the reds, but decided not to. May play it now instead.
33.
You have to really go in for the cannon there. I'm pretty sure that Mr. O'Sullivan and Mr. Hendry would be straight in that pack with screw. Right in there. And he's a little unlucky to glue on one of them. That's the shot,
40.
all right.
That was probably the worst position he could have finished. He's got a red to the left centre, which is tricky. Other than that, he's bridging really awkwardly. So he's been very unfortunate there.
Yeah, it was the correct shot to play. You know, move a few reds out and hold the cue ball. It was just really unlucky where it stuck.
.41.
Don't know whether he's on the black here. May not be. Well, from that angle, he may be. And he's quite satisfied. He's getting down to play it. So if he is, he thinks it goes. Well done. Deserved that. Player really played the right shot the shot before to split the pack.
48.
And in amongst the balls, John, he's got a lovely cue ball, isn't he? He's got great control. You know, really soft, great finesse, great touch.
He's a proper player. Honestly, his break building is excellent. I like the fact that he, as I say, he played the right shot there. You know, I don't care what you say, break building. The right shot's the right shot. And doesn't matter. You see some players trying to protect when they're making a break or just cherry pick and take the odd red off. If the option's there to play into the pack, oh my goodness me, it's there. Yeah, he decelled a little bit on that one. You know, you just got to play the right shot, and he does. Take the red into the middle.
56.
Excellent, 56 so far from Tepchire. Having a look at the red that's just above the black to the left-hand side, but well, there's something he doesn't quite like about this. Maybe he's going to play this and screw off the cushion.
57.
Which is a very strange shot. I have no idea why he's played it like that. Why not go up for the blue? That one has got me baffled.
.64.
Well, I don't know why I'm baffled, because he's going for the maximum, Peter. That's what it is. I was expecting the cue ball to go up and win the frame, but, well, he's got previous where the maximums are concerned. Missed the black a couple of times, but as you say, then made one. So
65.
Apologies, top chair. You're thinking better than I am. I was thinking along the lines of winning the frame. He's thinking along the lines of the £40,000 for the maximum.
.72.
So this will be frame ball, and then he can concentrate on the maximum properly. It's there.
73.
Okay. Well played. And good luck with the rest of the break. Nice shot.
80.
Well, I'll never say
81.
no problem with the next couple of reds near the pink, but they are easier. They're the ones to play on before he has to go up for the two reds. And what I will say, with those two reds on near the board, it's great for left-handers, because you can put the cue ball on the right-hand side, pot them and come back down the table.
88.
Ooh,
89.
off his feet. Yeah, may choose to go up for those reds near the baulk now. Had a chance to play off the side cushion, didn't he, to go up there, but decided to play for the one near the pink.
96. 97.
Right, what you've got to make sure here is you get a nice angle, at least half ball, so you can pop the red and come right back down for the black again. So there's the cue ball there, excellent century. Couldn't play that any better. Perfect.
104.
So that's the 30th century of the tournament, and boy, has he hit that well.
105.
Great shot that piece, isn't it, leaving that angle?
Yes, that was precision. Fantastic stuff. Come on, Tepchai, you can do this.
Put the brakes on. Perfect. What a shot.
112.
Oh, can you believe it? What a fantastic move. There was me thinking he just wanted to win the frame, but he was after the maximum, and he failed on the last red. Brilliant, brilliant break of 112, and it's 7-5 to John Higgins now. What a match. Well, that was a fantastic attempt, and he's a little bit annoyed with himself because he did all the hard work. I mean, that positional shot to leave it where he did was absolutely brilliant, but he's just stretching slightly, but still didn't think he'd miss that.
Yeah, he played some absolutely sublime positional shots, and you can see the reaction there. He's absolutely devastated. He's got previous, hasn't he? We're missing these 147 attempts, but he has made them as a professional, so supremely talented player.
Yeah, say he bamboozled me at the start of the break, and I'm thinking to myself, well, just change the scoreboard, let's get 7-5, and then I'm thinking he can't, you know, and all of a sudden I went, oh, maximum, he's decided that he's not playing up for the blue in the middle, he's going for the max.
He can't let this affect him though, John. I mean, he looks absolutely devastated there, and he's given himself a right mental bashing sitting in the seat there, but he's got to realise that he was on for a 147, he's just won the frame, he's back in this match.
Yeah, the priority, obviously, being boring, is to win the frame. That's what it's about. Make sure that the scoreline changes. That's important first. But I can understand him being a little bit gutted because it was a right chance.
Yeah, some great drama though for this very appreciative Crucible crowd.
Yeah, and 3 frames of just pure class this evening. Absolutely wonderful. Not every session is like this, but this is a treat.
Frame 13. John Higgins to break.
So it's John Higgins who breaks off on frame 13, and it's been a wonderful evening session so far. 3 high quality frames. Both players in wonderful form. Tepchai has had breaks of 121, 112. Higgins made a brilliant clearance of 81. Fabulous stuff. And, yeah, I think he's in the groove. Maximum, Peter?
8.
Well, I think we can take it that Tepchai has definitely got the needle with himself that he missed that maximum attempt, so who knows what might happen here.
Yeah, he's just come an awkward angle here. Just slightly off straight the wrong way. So he's going to have to screw this with side. Well, he could bash an angle out of it. What a shot that is. I mean, he is timing it so well this evening. I mean, it's so easy to get that one wrong.
16.
He's
17.
in the zone.
24. 25.
So, this is not a straightforward shot because you've got to play this with loads of topspin and loads of left-hand side to flick into the pack. What a split. Great split, and he's on nothing. Unbelievable. Couldn't hit that much better, and he's on
32.
zilch. That is a tough shot on these tables. You are cursed, young man.
And he played it so well, John, didn't he? Because it's so easy to get too much topspin on that and banana the cue ball around the pack.
Un-Nooh 32.
Amazing the way those reds have gone in that formation. I mean, hit them so good. They were in a triangle a minute ago and they're just like a clothesline across the table. So unlucky. I wonder if there's a gap. I wonder if he can get right through the gap for that red over the corner. Looks like it. Yep. It was always going to be difficult to get the cue ball out there with so many reds in that vicinity. Worthwhile having a walk down the other end, I would think, just to see where he wants to leave the cue ball. Well, I thought he might play safe, but doesn't seem to be in the remit at the minute. He's hitting it so well. He's decided he's taken everything, but as a percentage, probably not the right shot, that one.
Well, he went for a yellow very similar to that in the first session and slightly overcut it. That time he undercut it. And it's a very dangerous thing to do against somebody of John Higgins' class, because John Higgins will come into the table and thinking, that wasn't the right shot, I'm going to clear up now.
Fabulous. I mean, just within 2 shots, he's turned a horrible looking table into something that's perfect. Drops it in, angle on the black, flicks the 2 reds away, and this is a great chance. And we're not being after the event merchants, but that's why you don't take yellows like that, Tepchire. Not against John Higgins. I know it must be difficult for him to refuse any ball at the minute, the way he's feeling and potting, but as I mentioned earlier, the right shot is the right shot, and that wasn't it.
16. $17.
Excellent shot. played into an area there, John, where he's got options, which is
24.
If you're making these breaks, that's what you have to do. Got a red on the right-hand side, or the one in the middle, I think he's on as well. So he's having a walk around. Yep, it'll be this one. Yes, and like Tep Chai did earlier in the
25
session this evening, there was a brown down there, if you remember, which he potted and tidied the table up. This time it's the yellow for John Higgins. Boy, it's a tough school out there tonight.
27. $28.
That's not ideal.
35.
Yeah, slightly overscrewed that one, didn't he? Play for the red in the middle pocket. Still taking it on, but a bit more acute. Yep, because of that, he's at the near jaw.
John Higgins, 35.
Just overscrewed that shot before, made this one a bit trickier. Now, Tep Chai, can you knock this tough red in? Well, it was tough. Absolutely wonderful shot. Straight in under the cosh. Can win the frame from this visit. It is seriously game on.
Do you know, John, I'd actually prefer to see Tep Chai just getting on with this now instead of thinking too much. I know there's a lot of pressure out there. But to me, if he takes time and thinks about it, there's more chance of him missing. I'd rather see him just get on with it and play naturally, because when he plays his natural game, it's just awesome to watch.
$8.
The red in baulk will pass the brown and go between the brown and yellow into the yellow pocket, so providing he can keep a good cue ball here, he's got a wonderful chance of clearing up.
16.
Have to play the pink there really, but he's gone for the black. You can hamper yourself on the pink playing it that way. Had to play the pink there, I'm afraid. Easy, wasn't it? Play the pink, keep the cue ball there, pop the red and up towards the other red that's in the baulk area. Now he's got
23.
a bridge over. Well done.
24.
So it's really all about this positional shot. As Peter mentioned, the red will definitely pop between yellow and brown. And he's controlled that superbly well. That's a great shot.
30.
Yeah.
31.
It's no miss snooker tonight. You can't afford to. You miss a ball, you sit in the chair. And this has been a wonderful, wonderful session. This has been the best session of snooker I've commentated on since the championship started this year.
33.
Best four frames by a long chalk, one after the other.
35.
Brilliant stuff. And John Higgins knows he's in a serious match.
38.
This boy's got the cue ball on a string.
42.
Well, I won't tell you what the score is on the other table
47.
tonight, folks, but they've only played 2 frames, and these have played 4. That's how good it's been.
53.
Get the kettle on, Pete. We'll be back in 15. Fantastic. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful display from Un-Nooh. John Higgins lost position on the red in the middle, caught the near jaw, and he sat in his chair. Chaya makes a break of 60. It's 7-6 at the interval. Game on. Well, we'll be back in 15 minutes. Peter's going to put the kettle on for us, and well, come back and don't miss any more of this because it's wonderful stuff. See you then.
Thank you. Frame 14. Chaya Un-Nooh to break.
So Chaya Un-Nooh breaks off at the start of frame 14 in what has now become an absolutely fascinating and enthralling encounter.
Yeah, it's certainly a very good workout for John Higgins, that's for sure. Now, the pot success of this second session so far, 91% for John Higgins and 95% for Chaya. Yep, it's been that good. Made a brilliant clearance to win the frame he won this evening, John Higgins. His opponent from Thailand has been potting them off the lampshade, and his cue ball control and amongst the balls this evening has been exemplary too, so he's in really good form, and this is a very dangerous opponent for John Higgins, 4 times champion of the world. Well, John's just put his cue down there by the side of the table just to see that if he potted this red and held the cue ball, would he be on the black? Big shot though. Oh. Wonderfully cued. Excellent opening red. It's going to have to be followed by an excellent black. Not easy from the side cushion. But John was happy enough to leave the cue ball there, knowing full well this is what he'd be left with. Yep, they're always tricky.
John Higgins won.
On the side rail. Missed it. Now, if that pink is easily potable, where it is, and there's a shot here, pot the red and go up for the pink, leave the cue ball there, and you could come straight into the pack and open the pack up. Well, he's going to go up for the blue, which is the same thing to get into the pack, but the pink was there where you could have potted the pink and run straight into the top of the pack. There we go. Is he on anything? I don't think so.
6.
Unlucky. Oh, he's been potting this evening. He just wanted to see any red. He's been taking it on, but where he's finished is very unfortunate.
Un-Nooh 6.
Well, John Higgins was looking very anxiously to see if Tepchire had been left a red there, and he'll be absolutely delighted to be able to come back to the table. This is not an easy safety shot, because in avoiding a cannon on the black, he may well be cannoning into the red, which is on the black cushion, and pushing that towards the left corner, so he needs to be very careful here. Giving this plenty of thought.
Yeah, it's made more difficult by the fact that your opponent is going for everything and knocking most of it in. So there's tremendous pressure on the safety just to try and keep the cue ball in a tough spot. But at the moment, John's problem is getting it anywhere down the table. This is what John's got. As you can see, the black on that side of the table is causing all the grief. Well, is he taking this red on? I think he is, you know, stunning across. Yep, had a go at it. How's your luck? Not very good. So, that shot from Tepchire forced John Higgins into taking that long red on. So, second chance. Well, after all his good play, all the balls he's knocked in, he gets that chance from John Higgins and misses it. Would you believe it? The only thing he had to be there was thin.
One.
That could be very, very costly.
Eight. 9.
John doesn't necessarily need to play a cannon here, but he'd love to just stun up into the red directly above the black spot. Oh, he played that poorly. Okay, he's on the red in the centre.
16.
But this is not quite as easy as it looks on your screens. Well played.
17. $22. $23.
He reached the final of this great championship last year, John Higgins. He led Mark Selby
30.
with a 6-frame lead in that final, but amazingly Mark came back to beat him. Can't think of many players who could beat John Higgins from 6 frames behind in any match, but Mark Selby managed to do it. It just shows the quality of John's game and the longevity in the game, that he's still, after his first victory in 1998 in this great championship, he's still punching away, playing very high quality snooker, and still being the great competitor he's always been. Always knew you were in for a stern examination if you were playing John Higgins in any match.
38.
A very tough exam paper.
39.
And that miss from Tepchaya is proving to be what I thought it would be. Costly. He's not done an awful lot wrong tonight, Tepchaya, but this is the standard that he's playing at, and against the player he's playing, those little mistakes
46.
get magnified. It's a very, very tough school.
$47.
Yeah, it is. Just had to hit it on the thin side. What you cannot do with that is thick. Unfortunately, when you're digging down sometimes to play that, you can just push a bit of side on and push the side into the object ball, and it catches it thick, and that's exactly what's happened there.
54. $55.
Not everyone would follow that mistake with a break like this, but as I say, he's playing someone who's been at the top of the tree for a long time. And I can remember playing him and thinking, every time you make a mistake, you get severely punished. He knows the importance of match play,
62.
John Higgins. He knows what's going to hurt the opponent. He usually pounces on it.
63.
So that should be the frame, but to make absolute certain of it,
70.
knock this in. Yep, it's there. Back to that pink I mentioned
71.
Earlier in the frame. This would have been ideal to go into the pack off, but anyway, that's history. Top quality match play, Peter, isn't it?
77.
It certainly is, John. And it's mesmerising stuff here from both players. That doesn't matter.
John Higgins 77 and the frame.
It's a wonderful break from John Higgins. And he extends his lead by 8 frames to 6.
Yeah, it's a funny little shot that Tepchaya had. He got the chance, didn't he, Peter? And he's sort of, you're digging down a little bit, and he's trying to flick a bit of side on. And sometimes on these cloths, you put the side on, and it throws the cue ball and doesn't come back. And consequently, he's hit it thick.
And to be honest, you just cannot believe that he's missed it. He couldn't believe he missed it. I don't think anybody could believe that he missed it.
It is one of those when you're playing like up the table, you do have to err on the thin side because the cue ball will push in, and that's exactly what's happened there.
Well, as you quite rightly suggested at the time, John, it was very, very costly.
He just played John Higgins too many times and seen him play too often. You just know what he's like. It's the same sort of thing as Stephen Hendry used to do. When you made a mistake, they just knew they were going to jump on it straight away. And this evening, John Higgins has made an 81 clearance in one of the frames. He's coming with that one again. You know, they're massive, but you just know he's going to get them. And Tep Chai has played unbelievable in the session this evening, but John Higgins does what John Higgins does. Competes and wins, nicks frames off you, then he scores heavy. He's just the ultimate competitor. So John Higgins breaks off in frame 15. 8-6 the lead in a very, very high quality match. Both players been in scintillating form this evening. Heavy scoring is the name of the game. Wasn't very close, in fairness. He was that thick with the attempt on the pot that the cue ball had no pace to get back down the table, so you could expect to be leaving one.
One. Four.
He has a red on the left-hand side, John, but he'd probably be coming in off the other side. Coming down to have a look at that. But he'd ideally like to pot this, leave himself an angle on the black and attack it from the right-hand side as we look.
Yeah, I think low would be better if possible. Just so
Five.
that he could screw into the cluster, but he doesn't have the angle to do that now. Didn't need to play the cannon, of course, because he's got at least 3 loose reds there.
12.
It's just the way the modern day game is going now,
13.
John. If there's a loose red, you tend to take the red, leave yourself the angle, screw into the reds, leave the open red. A lot of the young players are playing that way now. But we certainly could never criticise John Higgins for his shot selection. He's been one of the very best of all time. And he produces time and time and time again under pressure.
18.
And it's great to see him go through the gears this evening because he looks a different player tonight, and that's only because he's had to be.
Yep. He's been put to the test, hasn't he? He has played some good stuff. John not quite happy with the cue extension the way it is. Still not happy. Changing it, in fact, didn't like that one, so for whatever reason, swapped it over. A little bit trickier with those extensions on, just to feel the correct weight of your cue. Sometimes you can quit a little bit, but hit that nicely. Now you'll try and play this in a
19.
way to leave the cue ball low on the red that's loose, so that he can pot that, cannon into the pack and develop a couple of reds and screw back for the black. So couldn't come any better there. Lovely. Well, he's actually screwed out a little bit more than I thought he would.
26.
Deciding that he's going to play it another way, but that was the one I would have thought he'd have left low. So here we go.
27.
Ideally he wants to hit the right hand red. Full ball will do. Oh, hit the back of the pack and good split. Not perfect, but he is on a red.
34.
Superb. He is just
35.
An absolute top-class competitor. Tapchaya made the mistake in the last frame with the clip red, lost the frame. Started off in this one with a wide, playing the long red, and John Higgins just knows this is a really tricky match he needs
40.
to get over, and he's using all his experience and all his talent.
$41.
Well, that's the first time he's really lost a cue ball in this break. He'll be bitterly disappointed with that
48.
because his cue ball has been excellent so far. That could well be end of break. But John Higgins knows when to take his medicine and then play a top quality safety
John Higgins,
shot.
48.
And that was a wonderful contribution.
Yeah, putting his opponent under pressure, isn't he? 8-6 behind Tapchaya and 49 points, 48 points behind, I should say. Now, is it a fluke? No. And as I say, he's just been slowly turning the screw in this match, John Higgins. Despite him playing against someone who's absolutely flying, Higgins is just managing to control the match now.
One.
I think I was reading somewhere the other day, some stat or something, Peter, that obviously Ronnie O'Sullivan percentage of matches won is number 1 in the modern game, and this man is number 2. You can see why, can't you? Just a brilliant competitor.
8.
Without being too critical about Tapchaya, you just feel that there was just a hint of desperation in those last 2 long balls that he's taken on and missed.
Yeah, well, luckily for him, John Higgins has just had an absolute shocker of a kick. Simple little run through for the black. Could have played a cannon up into the reds or played for the loose one. Looked like it was going to be frame over, and well, it's just like hitting a block of concrete. It just stopped dead. Not even certain through the gap he can play anything. Well, if he can, there's a good shot here. If he can swerve this and hit it 3/4 ball, knock the yellow on the side cushion, he'd be happy. And tried it, but nearly potted it. But he would have been with a 57-point lead and happy to knock the yellow safe. Unlucky there, John.
Well, Tapchaya will be taking this on. Hard stun shot, lots of left-hand side round the angles, finishing on the yellow. Something like that.
1.
Didn't quite get his position right there. Great pot. He's just come a little straight. There's a shake of his head when it cue ball landed there, but what a pot. Hello, any work? Pretty good effort to get there.
3.
There you go. Great pot this at distance with the side. Just a bit unlucky that he's come on the angle he did. If he'd have finished with the cue ball tight on that cushion there, he'd have a Had a great chance.
Tip Chai Un-Nooh 3.
Yeah, never easy when you're playing with the spider hitting down, trying to judge it. Very easy to tap a bit of side on. So although he's 54 points in the lead, John Higgins, he'd be very wary of the fact that all the colours are in potable positions. And the reds with 1 or 2 shots could be opened up, so not a gimme that he's over the line in this frame.
Well, I wonder if he can avoid the double kiss and play the cross table double. I think I might have been playing that.
Well, the other reason for playing the one on the left, of course, is get it in the open. You know, you're going to have to make a clearance or counter clearance. Have to be having that red off the rail, I think. That's a good shot, though. Very good shot. Very positive, that one, though.
Yeah, I'm thinking, John, doing the commentary this week, I think I might be going for too many doubles.
Well, John's going to play the drop onto the red that's near the top right-hand pocket here, down behind the back of that red. Yeah. Now then, how are you feeling with this shot? So he's left him attempt it. He's missed it and been pretty fortunate to leave John with the cue ball there. It's a horrible shot.
Yeah, this requires excellent cueing. That was tough, very tough. Made sure he got a good cue ball though.
Just about to say, look where the cue ball is. Honestly, he's absolute granite.
Well, he can't really play the cross table double now because he might be pushing the other red over the corner. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, did well there. Wasn't easy. I don't know whether John Higgins is having a go at this red as a pot. He did. Once again, though, the way it's played, I've a word where the cue ball is. Just an absolutely competitive animal when it comes to safety play and match play. Sometimes you play him, it seems almost unfair that he's had a pot at one, and then when you come to the table, that's what you're left with. Yep. Well, I don't know what that was, but it wasn't the right one.
Full.
He had him in all sorts of trouble there. There's an example of match play at its highest.
One.
Took the red in the corner, Played it as a shot to nothing. Stuck him behind the brown. Looks like frame over.
Well, I think Tepchai just sort of taken his time and just thought about that a little bit more, John. OK, he would have had to use the spider or the swan, but he could easily have come off the baulk cushion, side cushion, and then played for this red on the left-hand side cushion, and he couldn't possibly have left that red into the left centre. And if he'd got a good cue ball, he wasn't leaving the red into the right corner either, so he just needed to think about that a little bit more.
Like to have been a little easier than this one. Very thin clip. One of those shots though, you want to sort of clip it, nearly overcut it. You want it to be on the far jaw. The near one. There you go.
Thanks, John. 6.
So it should be end of frame, and once again another fine example of John just being absolutely rock hard. And
John
a shake of the head
on the frame
from Tepchai, and John Higgins with another excellent match play frame, brilliant shot selection, good scoring, and he leads Tepchai Un-Nooh by 9 frames to 6. Just one more to get into the second round. Well, Peter, you mentioned a shot there from Tepchai you thought needed a bit of thinking out, so over to you.
Yes, I think he can take the spider or swan and play off the baulk cushion, side cushion, inside the blue to play for the red on the left-hand side cushion. And providing he gets a reasonable cue ball, just to nestle up to that red, he cannot possibly leave the cut into the left centre, and he's not leaving the red into the right corner either. So he just needed just to take a few moments just to think about that. OK, he's not too far away from the red that he's played, but it was the wrong shot.
Yeah, he played for the correct red, but in the wrong way, didn't he? Which is, you know, sometimes, well, in that case, it was the end of the frame for him. But it's only one or two little things in the shot selection that we're picking out this evening because we're critiquing him. But it's just the fact that he's playing against John Higgins. It gets magnified because Higgins' match play is such high quality. If you've got, you know, you got a little weakness there somewhere, he just preys on it.
Frame 16, Tepchai Un-Nooh to break.
So Tepchai Un-Nooh breaks off at the start of frame 16 and needs all 4 of the remaining frames to earn a place into the second round. And the way John Higgins has gone through the gears this evening, that's looking highly unlikely. Well, this is very thin, but I wouldn't be surprised if he took this on with pace and cannoned into the pack and tried to stay on the black into the same pocket. Well, that's what he tried. But having overcut the red by such a distance, it went horribly wrong, and he's actually been very, very fortunate. I think John Higgins might be quite tempted to leave Tepchai a few long balls now, John.
That's a very good shot from Tepchai. Excellent. Good line and a very good length. Well, just 82 to 81. Doing pretty well if he's only 1% behind John Higgins.
What a shot that was. And this black is really tough. Oh, that's excellent. Well played. What a fantastic pot. Two fantastic pots from Tapchaya there. Deserves to be on this red into the right-hand black pocket. That was a tremendous opening red.
Nine.
Well, Tapchaya looks like he set his stall out to completely attack, which I don't blame him for. He's 9-6 down. He's got to change the scoreboard somehow, and this is his forte, scoring. But that might be the end of break. Perfect
16.
little diamond there, but unfortunately for him, cut no ice.
To be fair to him, John, he's been very unlucky when he's gone into balls, hasn't he, this evening? And it makes a huge difference at this level. You play the right shot, you get a nice split, can win you the frame. And if you don't, it could cost you some time later.
Tapchaya, Un-Nooh 16.
Even that shot there with the see level of concentration on John's face, just to make sure that safety shot was how he wanted it, the contact was. You know, he plays the game as if there's no such thing as an easy shot, and he's dead right to do that. Every shot warrants respect, and that's what it gets with John Higgins.
He's taking this on, dropping it in for the black. And this time he hasn't got away with it. So this is a chance for Tapchaya.
One.
Just feel though he's definitely got to take it. John Higgins isn't going to give you 2 or 3 chances of frame. It just doesn't happen. It's not in his remit. So you're going to have to score when you do get that chance. And in this frame,
6.
this is it.
So this is all about Tapchaya retaining his composure now without breaking his natural rhythm of getting on with it. Difficult to do under pressure.
7.
But I'm so pleased for him that he's played well this evening and shown everybody what he's capable of doing. Such a talented young player.
Yeah, I've seen him play a few times, Peter, but this is the best I've seen him hit it. He is a right talent.
12.
Some people just look really natural hitting a snooker ball, and this fella is one of those. Something about this shot he doesn't like.
13.
So decided to screw back and play on the black. Stretching a little bit, so got to make sure his position's good here. He'll take that. I'm not too sure that's how he played it.
20.
Well, that one shot and cannon has opened everything up now.
21.
Now, this is all about him keeping his cue ball under control and keeping his nerve in check.
28. 29.
A little loose there, the cue ball, just as ever. Got to be the other side of the blue. Looks like he's short. There you go. You can see he's the wrong side. So it's going to be a median, mid-range red now, the one that's near the pink spot. Okay, you shouldn't miss
34.
this. But nice to keep that cue ball nice and tight and make it easier. That, on the other hand,
35.
I really like the previous shot he played there, John, when he used the jaw of the middle pocket just to get the cue ball a bit closer to the red. Very clever shot.
$40. $41. $48. $49.
He's just come on an awkward angle here, because if he screws back off this, he'll hit the red that's underneath his arm now. Yeah, and because he's trying to force an angle to not hit that red, he then misses the object ball.
Tepchai Un-Nooh, 49.
So, what he just had to do there, of course, in hindsight, is knock the black in, because that would have been leaving John Higgins needing snookers. But now he doesn't need a snooker.
One.
Oh, that was just so careless from Tepchai there. So entertaining and so great to watch, and occasionally just throws that shot in. Very, very careless. And that could really cost him. He might not get another shot.
It's not very often I question John Higgins' mental
6.
arithmetic, but why did he play up for the blue? Because there's 59 on and 59 remaining. Why did he not play on the black in the middle? Because you can only draw now.
7.
Well, you can only think, John, that he miscounted.
$14.
Perhaps he just wanted to
15.
make Tepchai's drive home all the more torturous by losing on a respotted black.
$22. 23.
So, So far, so good. 35 in it, 35 on. Clears up.
30.
Spotted black.
$31.
Referee might as well just get ready to toss the coin because there's just been
38.
inevitability about this break.
$40.
So for all the world, Tepchai looked like winning the frame, but he just needed to knock that black in off the spot. Position wasn't imperative. If it had gone in,
43.
definitely been over the line in the frame, but he's missed the black off the spot, trying to force position. And it looks like John Higgins is going to get a respot black.
Well, with an attempted 147 from both players, John, that's all we've not had so far. And that is one of the
47.
worst positional shots that John Higgins has ever played in his entire career. He will be absolutely disgusted with himself.
Well, blow me down with a feather. I did not see that coming at all.
John Higgins, 47.
And neither did John Higgins. Good news and bad news in that shot. Bad news is the blue's not totally safe. Good news is John may be slightly hampered with his cueing. Well, he isn't. So it's bad news all round. Well, there you go. After all the trials and tribulations, John Higgins will be very aggrieved. He didn't get him down to blue.
Tepchai on the frame.
Well done, Tepchai Un-Nooh. He looked like he was going to go out of the tournament or at least have a respot black, but John Higgins didn't get on the blue from the brown. And it's a fantastic match continuing this evening. It's John Higgins 9, Tepchai Un-Nooh. Calculated there was something about the black he didn't like where it was, but from the minute he's done it, he was under the cosh. But then he's making the clearance, Peter, and he gets on the brown. I could never see this happening.
Well, that is just incredible. You just do not expect John Higgins to play a shot like that. And that is no exaggeration. That probably was one of the worst positional shots he's played in his entire career.
Yeah, it's one of those things. And if you know, sometimes if you miss it really badly, the cue ball pulls up, you've got a shot at it, or you hit it hard, it can. I mean, just where it finishes right on top of the blue is just no man's land. And I wasn't expecting to see that happen, and neither would John. And then, of course, he's been left a tempter, and he's going to go, not easy, of course, but when it's there and you think there's a chance to nick the last three colours and go to a respot, you're going to take it on. Didn't quite knock it in, and, well, no one more relieved in the auditorium than Tepchai. So the players have just popped out to compose themselves, and we'll resume as soon as they come back.
I was just going to say, John, the exciting thing about Tepchai is that we know that in 20 minutes' time we could be 9-all.
Yeah, he is that fluent, isn't he?
Jones.
It's getting so exciting, nobody knows who's breaking off.
The 17th frame. John Higgins to break.
So it's John Higgins who breaks off. Frame 17, and it's been wonderful. Great match play snooker. Thrills and spills, lots of breaks, maximum attempts. Wonderful potting. Miscalculations. It's had everything.
The only thing we haven't had, John, is a respotted black, but who knows, that may be to come.
Superb.
1.
Fabulous. Clean pot. Allied to all the talent and wonderful match play capabilities, a magnificent temperament is owned by the Scot.
6.
Even though he's had a frame there, he'd be kicking himself he didn't end up with a respotted black. He'll quickly put that behind him.
7.
Nothing he can do about it now. It's just a matter of getting over the line. Red pot's in the middle if he runs through. You could come off the cushion and go back for it in the other corner where the black's just gone, which is what he's done. Had a choice there.
$14. 15. Sure.
And wouldn't it be oh so John Higgins to roll that red in and clear up with a century at the first available opportunity?
Yes, and I mentioned earlier this evening, as I say, that it's not the frames you should win,
22.
it's the frames you shouldn't, and that 81 clearance that John Higgins made earlier this evening, which was absolutely wonderful to go 7-4. There's the difference between it being level pegging.
23.
9-7. The way Tep Chai has been playing and how he's been scoring. Without that clearance, it'd be 8 across. I've seen quite a few matches here this week, and he's played well enough, Tep Chai, to have beaten most players here in the opening round. There's some people who are going to be in the draw for the second round who've not played as good as him. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. You got John Higgins.
Big shot coming up here. Oh, he's played that perfectly. You cannot play that shot any better. What a wonderful shot. Look at the spin he gets in the cue ball here.
38. $39.
Funnily enough, followed by 1, he just mishit. He didn't get the work on the cue ball there. And to just run through slightly, but overdid it. I had to play for the red between gap of blue and pink. So I would suggest this is a key ball here.
Pot. 47.
Well, he's left himself a tricky red into the right centre.
I think the good news
54.
is, Peter, can he just go through the gap when he pots this? So it's not that the cue ball's being stopped. Yep. But no, hit the near jaw. One thing you can't do.
John Higgins, 54.
An excellent 54 from John Higgins, but you would have considered that was the frame and match chance.
And the reason why he didn't get closer to that red there is that he just potted the black into the wrong side of the pocket, and that just took the cue ball away from the next red.
Well, I think he's missed here, and Jord has gone across. I think he's covered it, but of course the one that's closer to the cue ball, and this is frame and match ball for me. This goes in. Ooh, it did. And this probably is going to be the end. Certainly wiped its feet, that one, but it's in. Little cannon up into the 4 reds here. Keep on the one that's over the corner. So he's 62 ahead. There's 83 remaining, so he's a
8.
Red and a couple of colours away. Couple of reds, couple of colours away from being over the line.
Nine.
So I may have to play a cannon here. Can't hold the cue ball for anything. There's nothing readily available, so obviously make sure you knock the black in, but one decent cannon away from over the line. Well, that'll do. So just this
16.
red and a blue, and John Higgins should be in round 2. And this has been an absolute epic encounter.
17.
He's had to pull out all the reserves this evening. John Higgins, his match play experience, potting ability, break building, everything, because his opponent has been very good indeed.
Yes, John, ultimately John Higgins has proved too strong, but Tapchaya can take a lot of credit out of this
22.
match. He really got himself up for this evening session, and he showed everybody what a great player he is.
23.
Well, trust me, John Higgins has had a workout in this match. He's had to play some pretty stellar stuff. The clearance earlier in the evening for the 81 was wonderful, and the rest of it hasn't been bad either. It's just John Higgins at his very best. And Tapchaya Un-Nooh, if you keep playing like that, young man, we're going to be seeing a lot more of you. It's not there, but that
John
looks
Higgins,
like it should
30.
be a handshake, and it is. And what a fantastic match we've witnessed there. John Higgins will be delighted to get through. That was a really tough match. And Tapchaya, well played, young man. We'll see more of you. But John Higgins delighted. He's through into round 2. He beats Tapchaya Un-Nooh by 10 frames to 7. Classic match.